Good morning, everybody. Welcome into the lab. It's a beautiful Sunday. Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving on this past Thursday. No, I did. Ate a lot of turkey, way too much. Shit had me backed up for fucking hours, it seemed. It was well worth it. Food was fucking delicious. Tell you one thing that's not worth it. Just want to make a little PSA for you guys before we get into our football talk today. If you do decide to go to a sporting event with your lady, please recommend that she does not take her bag. Me and the boys, we went to Black Friday game, brought the ladies with us. They, of course, had their bags as usual. American Airlines Center, security, god awful. I see why fan fights are happening all the time. They don't even have enough fucking security to get people into the door. We were in a line originally, going straight in. Looked like things were moving quick. Then we realized, oh snap, there is a bag line. One line, 4 bags. Makes no sense. You have one line for the people that it takes longest to get in because you're having to check their bags. I mean, they had this thing going through the x-ray machine. I felt like I was at TSA. Long story short, we missed the first 2 goals of the game. We were standing in line for security. The shit was just bonkers. I've never seen it. Meanwhile, the other lines are moving just fine. They needed more than one bag line. My second beef that I also got with them after that game, and I know a lot of y'all probably don't give a shit, but I'm gonna bitch about it because I'm mad about it. Apparently, if you buy a seat in row A in the 300 sections at the ends of the rink, not the sides, the ends of the rink, that row A is actually not the front row of that section. I learned that the hard way. They have AB, AC, AD, AE, and so on and so forth. Then finally, you get to just row A. Makes no sense. That's my gripe. On that. That's my duty as a journalist with this show is I've got to report on some things I don't want to. Dallas Stars security at American Airlines Center needs to step the fuck up. Took me damn near a whole period to get into the building. I should not have to have my wife leave her purse in the car just to get into the game on time. Said my piece. Now we're going to move on to football. Speaking of journalism, I said I had to be a responsible journalist. Some people not so much. Reports have came out this week that Aaron Rodgers has quote-unquote COVID toe. The corporate media slander of this man continues. It continues day over day, week over week. It started in the offseason. First, he wants to get out of Green Bay. Then he wants to do this. He's going to retire. He's going to go do Jeopardy. He's a cancer to the team. He's causing all this drama, da-da-da-da-da. Just constant media barrage. Then, fast forward, boom, gets COVID. Boom, another media barrage. He's not vaccinated. Da, da, da. Meanwhile, he followed every protocol except for the one where he meets with the media, which is funny because that's really the only protocol that we can actually see publicly, and nobody threw a fit about it until they found out he wasn't vaccinated, which makes no fucking sense because vaccinated people spread the shit too, per the reports and shit that I've seen. Again, I'm no doctor, so I'm not going to get into that conversation. But now there's reports surfacing this week that he has COVID toe. The fuck is COVID toe? Like, the fuck? Like, it came from the Washington Post. Used to be a very reputable, company that would put out very good journal pieces, things like that. But now they're talking about Aaron Rodgers having COVID toe. I don't even know if that's like a real thing. But they clearly got this from the Pat McAfee show when he came on Tuesday. It's so funny because anything he says on that show, they just take as he's being serious all the time. The guy does have a sense of humor, and it's a pretty good one if you actually listen to him talk. But they were bullshitting, man. They were sitting there talking about how he hurt his toe when he was on quarantine. They were talking shit about him running, 2-minute drills at home by himself because apparently that's what Russell Wilson was doing, practicing 2-minute drills on his own. And so they were kind of making fun of him there, pointing fun at him. And at one point, McAfee says something about, COVID toe. And, of course, Rodgers just goes along with it. They're completely bullshitting. And sure enough, very next day, post surfaces from Washington Post about Aaron Rodgers having COVID toe. Whatever the fuck that is. I don't even know if that's a real thing, but, I mean, they came up with it. I'm trying to find the article because they put, references to what COVID toe is. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to get that pulled up. But what's really funny is when he's in his next press conference, he basically was just like, fuck you guys. I'm going to show you guys my toe. He pulled out his toe in the middle of a press conference, simply just to prove that he does not have COVID toe. And what's funny is the Washington Post even comes out with a article after the fact saying, hey, he's got, COVID toe and da-da-da-da. But apparently this is a real thing. Apparently their skin on one or more of your toes or fingers will swell up and look bright red. They gradually turn purple. And the skin can kind of look swollen, purple, and have brownish purple spots. This is according to WebMD. COVID toes. That's fucking nuts. I thought that like McAfee was just bullshitting when he said COVID toes. I didn't realize that was an actual apparently illness that's out there. COVID getting every part of your body. It gets your lungs, your heart, your toes, your fingers. Fucking watch out there. But nonetheless, he does not suffer from COVID toe. He did confirm he does have a fracture in one of his toes. He's not going to miss any time for that. He's already said he won't. Now, will it affect his play a little bit? Maybe. Depends on what toe it is. Also depends on, what kind of painkillers he's on, things like that. I would not be surprised if he's getting shot up with some shit for that before the game. I would be. There's no way I'm playing with a broken toe and not having some type of pain meds to go with it. Just my opinion. Switching gears over to a little less bullshit and a little bit more of what's actually going on here in the league. The NFL power rankings came out from the beginning of this week, crept up to the 10th spot, previously ranked number 14. The Minnesota Vikings, they popped up. Obviously, they beat my Packers this last weekend with a game-winning field goal kick. A lot of people like to say, Aaron Rodgers got a taste of his medicine. He scored too quick because we threw the 75-yard bomb to tie the game. But people got to remember the special thing about what I just said there, to tie the game, to tie it. When you're playing from behind, there's no it's too quick to score. There's none of that because you don't know if you're going to get that chance to score again. He could have ran it down to the 1 yard line, but what if we get stuffed on the goal line 4 straight times? And then what happens? Now we have no points, and now the other team has the ball. I'd rather get the points and let the other team have the ball, and rely on our defense a little bit. Our defense almost came up. The Green Bay defense almost came up with a pick there. As they were cutting a commercial break, I looked over at the wife. I said, hey, I don't think that one's going to stand. It looked like it popped out as he came down. Sure enough, come back from the, commercial break, and they're on the microphone. They're reviewing this for potential overturn. Looks like he may have dropped the ball. It is very well possible, or not well possible. He did drop the ball. We knew going into that commercial break it was possible that that call gets overturned. The emotions of that fourth quarter just up and down, man. As a fan of the Packers, didn't work out how we wanted, but the Minnesota Vikings, they're not looking too bad. They're definitely unpredictable. You don't know what you're gonna get. Justin Jefferson had 2 touchdown catches. Kirk Cousins threw for 3 of those touchdowns. Kudos to the Vikings that game. They stepped up to the challenge. I believe in last week's show I was predicting that Minnesota Vikings offense would not be able to hang with the Packers offense. I just figured we would outpace them. I didn't think it was going to be a bad game, but I thought it was going to be just a bunch of offense or on our end, and probably outpace them by a score or two. They definitely hung with. Final score was 34-31. Both offensives showed out. Green Bay's defense has to shore up some areas after last week, though. However, a couple plays go other way, different story. As far as defensive wise, we come down with that pick at the end of the game there, and that doesn't get overturned. That gives us a good amount of time to get into field goal range. But that doesn't necessarily guarantee a win to get into field goal range right now. Mason Crosby, another one. He's missed 11 field goals on the year. That's ultimately what led to the loss against the Vikings. Had he hit his field goals, we would have never been in the position we were in. We would have won. Nevertheless, that's the way football goes. Minnesota Vikings, they climb from 14 all the way up to number 10. Number 9 team, they're staying about even. A couple weeks ago, I was hot on them at saying, why are they the only one-loss team that was outside of the top 5? And this is the Los Angeles Rams. They're number 9. They held their position. They just, as of lately, haven't been doing anything spectacular to climate. They've obviously lost 2 of their last 4 games, so they're about 500 for the last bit. I mean, they just need to get back on track. Cooper Kupp's absolutely wild. Their game today against the Packers is going to be insane. We'll talk more about that later, but they are coming in at number 9. Coming in at number 8, a slide all the way from number 2 of last week, the Tennessee Titans. They have slid to number 8, and well-deserved. They got beat by the fucking Texans. The Texans, of all teams, to beat the Tennessee Titans. I mean, come on, man. Like, those are the games you got to win. That's twice now the Titans have had bad losses. They lost to the Jets earlier in the season, and now they've lost to the Texans. They've got to do better against these teams that they're supposed to win against. You can't discount those teams. It's not going to hurt them in the long run, I don't believe, but they do take a big slide in the power rankings because of losing to them. Also, as well, it doesn't help that Julio Jones got added to the IR. Derrick Henry, obviously, a couple weeks ago, got added to the IR. It looks like there's just one man alone on an island out there, and that's A.J. Brown that Ryan Tannehill has to throw to. This could be bad for the Titans if they can't get it figured out. All right, guys. Moving on, number 7. This is another team that slid, and that's going to be the Buffalo Bills. They went from number 5 all the way down to number 7 for this week. They are sounding the alarm bell right now. They've lost to the Jags. They've now lost to the Colts. The Colts routed them. Jonathan Taylor had 5 touchdowns and 185 yards. I mean, they could not stop the run. 264 rushing yards. You've got to get your defense off the field if you want to win with the Buffalo Bills. They need to get the defense off the field, get Josh Allen on the field. Even when he's on the field, as of lately, not been looking the greatest. He threw 2 interceptions and fumbled once. So we'll see what happens here. The Bills have already played this week, so they may climb a little bit back up. They did respond on Thanksgiving night. They beat the Saints. But man, they're 7-4 now as of that win against the Saints. And if the Patriots win today, they're not even going to be at the top of their division when this week's said and done. They weren't at the top of the division last week when it was said and done, I don't believe. They were not at the top of the division last week. I apologize. They've got to find a way to get it done. They're struggling. They found a way on Thanksgiving night against New Orleans, but they've got to continue to do so. They had a really rough patch during their streak of games that they should have won. 2 weeks ago, I was talking about how the Buffalo Bills were going to ascend to the top of the AFC because of the fact that their schedule was so easy, but they've been dropping it left and right. They have one of the easiest schedules and are playing like dog shit right now. The Buffalo Bills better get together fast. They are my Super Bowl pick for the AFC side. I need them to get their shit in order because they are looking awful. Climbing the rankings, on the other hand, is their team that they are actually going head-to-head with on divisional leadership, and that's going to be the New England Patriots. They climbed from number 8 to number 6 for this week coming in. Mac Jones has been playing very well, doing a great job managing the game, definitely performing the best out of all the rookie quarterbacks that are out there. And they are currently on a 5-game winning streak. In that time, they've only given up 10 points per game. Their defense is doing an absolutely great job for them, which is about standard for the Patriots. They rely heavily on good, sound defense, great team play, and Mac Jones is managing the game well on the offensive side to give his defense some time to rest, give them fewer possessions. New England has only given up 10 points per game during the last 5 games. They have 12 picks, and they've only allowed 4 touchdown passes. This last week they played, I believe, the Falcons. They basically got to Matt Ryan left and right, got 4 sacks. They hit him 12 times. Matthew Judon is the leader of the group right now. He was obviously the big free agent signing for New England in the offseason. And he's up to 10.5 sacks for this season. He's already on his way to another Pro Bowl from the sounds of it. They've already matched their 2020 win total by Thanksgiving this year, and they're sitting in first place of their division. If they win today, they're going to be in first place of their division again at the end of this week, going into a game next week against the Bills where they could then put even further separation between them. Yeah, I think that was a good one. Sliding down to number 5 coming into this week after being ranked number 3 the week before was the Dallas Cowboys. They obviously the past week they took the loss to the Chiefs. That caused them to slide to number 5. They are going to more than likely slide again because, as we all know, on Thursday they lost to the Raiders. Not to discount the Raiders. I know that the Raiders have gone through their troubles this year. They obviously lost a coach, lost their top wide receiver due to a dumb fucking decision. That being said, though, they're still a good team. They still got Derek Carr back there. Beating the Raiders is not something easy. But ultimately, what landed them in the number 5 spot was their 19-9 loss to the Chiefs. They're now on a 2-game slump. They're probably going to fall lower than 7 or lower than 5th in the next power rankings. I wouldn't be surprised to see them come in at 7 or 8 on Tuesday morning this week after their loss on Thanksgiving Day. Going to their game over the Chiefs that ultimately led them to 5th in the power rankings here. Dak just didn't look like he had it. The defense didn't play bad. Anytime you hold Mahomes to 19 points, you're giving yourself a chance. Offense just fucking shit the bed. They didn't have CeeDee Lamb, I don't believe. Believe they were also missing possibly Amari Cooper as well. I'm not sure. Either way, though, bad game for them against the Chiefs. Another bad game against the Raiders on Thursday night or Thursday afternoon for Thanksgiving. It just not a good stretch right now for the Cowboys. They need to get the ship turned around right and going in the right direction. However, I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is typical of the Cowboys. They get to December and they just start pissing down their leg. They do not know how to play for the stretch. We'll see if they turn it around. I wouldn't be surprised if they turn around. I think the Cowboys are actually a good team this year. I talk a lot of shit about them, obviously, just because I got a lot of friends that are Cowboys fans living down here in Dallas, or in Dallas area. And so always got to make sure, poke a little fun at them. And we all know how they perform in December and beyond. That being said, though, I think they'll turn it around. They've got the team to do so. Coaching could be better. They've got Mike McCarthy. He's one of those. There's a reason why he's not in Green Bay anymore. He refused to adapt to the new league. He got stale, and that's going to be what happens with the Cowboys. It may look good at first, but I bet you his offense starts getting stale, which it looked like has been the case these past 2 games for them. Now, coming in at number 4, a surprising climb here. Not really a surprising climb. They've had a really good stretch of a couple weeks here. And that's going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs. They're coming up from number 7, and talk about a team that's starting to turn things around this season. They have struggled their way to the top of their division. They have been absolutely awful at times this season. They've been very good at times this season. They've now won 3 in a row after beating the Packers. Then they beat the Cowboys. Or did they win 3 in a row? I could be tripping. Yeah, because they played somebody between the Packers and the Chiefs. I can't remember who that somebody was, but I know that Patrick Mahomes got loose for about 5 touchdowns that game. Kansas City Chiefs, they're starting to come along. Their defense held the Cowboys last week down to 9 points. Obviously, the Cowboys are missing a few pieces, but still, any professional team that you hold at 9 points or less, it's a great game for your defense, especially for a defense that for most of the season has been ranked 30th or worst in regards to all the stats that actually fucking matter, like points and yardage, things like that, mainly points. But yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs, they've slid up to 4th. They're making a run for it. Y'all better watch out. They're starting to get hot. If they keep it rolling, they could be looking to get back to championship game. All you got to do is make the playoffs, right? All you got to do is make the playoffs. Coming in at number 3 on the power rankings. And let's see. Sorry, guys. I'm working on trying to get us some guests for the show, so it's just not me up here talking. So I got a couple messages coming in as this is going on. But switching back to number 3, they're up from number 6. I really don't like this ranking very much for them. I don't think they're the 3rd best team in the league. But obviously these power rankings, they, up and down just depending on who's playing. how each team's playing, so on and so forth. I think 3 is a little bit of a stretch for this team, but nonetheless, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers come in at number 3. They were previously ranked number 6. They got an easy win over the Giants. I don't think that's enough to springboard you up 3 spots right after you lost to the fucking Redskins. They are in number 3 because it is Tom Brady. He threw for 300 yards. He looks good. As long as Tom Brady looks good, the media and everything like that's going to consistently give them top rankings in these power rankings. To be honest, though, I don't think the Tampa Bay Bucks are going to repeat from last year. From what I've seen this year, I don't foresee it happening. I think last year, I think they just happened to get hot at the right time. Their defense came together at the right time. Obviously, the Packers choked in the fucking conference championship game. I don't think the Bucks are really that team. I definitely don't think they're deserving of a 3rd spot in the power rankings. They beat the fucking Giants. Come on now. Come on. I don't even think anybody tuned into the game other than fucking fans of those teams. Like, who wants to watch the Bucks and Giants? Coming in at number 2, I'm honestly surprised they didn't slide more after losing last week. They were number 1 coming into the week after they shut out the Seahawks, and obviously that's my Green Bay Packers. As a fan, I'm glad that they're still sitting at number 2. Honestly, though, I'm really surprised that they are. They did lose to the Vikings last week, and I think maybe they're getting a little bit of credit for that loss to the Vikings because it was so close, 34-31. Made it a game at the end. That being said, though, I mean, it was the Vikings. They are a 500 team, and they are unpredictable. You don't know which team you're going to get from them each week. I'm surprised that loss didn't send them down further. I think the shutout win over the Seahawks the week before really helped them stay up in that top 3 with the number 2 spot. Essentially, the Packers defense last week was nowhere to be found, though. They allowed Justin Jefferson 2 touchdowns, and they couldn't hold off a last-second drive to get into field goal range. The Packers, I am worried about. They lost Elton Jenkins last week to a season-ending ACL. We'll see what happens. Next man up. It's been the mindset all season. They've been dealing with injuries all year. Typical of Packers fashion. Everybody seems to get hurt throughout the year. There are some signs that Jari Alexander on the secondary may be coming back soon. Possibly should maybe be seeing some David Bakhtiari here pretty soon too. So that's going to help on the line since Elton Jenkins just went down, kind of one man out, new one in. But yeah, moving over to the number 1 spot, a little drum roll on that. And number 1 is going to be Arizona Cardinals. They jumped from number 4. They've only lost 2 games. They obviously lost to the Packers, and then they lost the week before that while Kyler Murray was out. This team right here, they did a great job with Colt McCoy. They went 500 with him. I mean, you can't be mad about that. Or I'm sorry, they didn't go 500 with him. I want to say they went. Did he play 2 games or 1 game? I think he only played 2 games. 2 games. I'm sorry. He did play 2 games. The first one he came out and he beat the shit out of was it the Rams? I want to say was it the Rams he played. I'm not sure, but he did get a win for them. He did get a loss last week. They come in playing the Seahawks, who seem to be dead in the water at this moment. They are done. It don't matter if Russell Wilson came back or not. They're done. They didn't play well enough while he was out to give themselves a chance. Now they want him to shake off the rust and get some wins at the same time. It's just not going to happen. Kyler Murray did come back last week. He threw for 328, 2 touchdowns. I definitely agree that this Cardinals team should be sitting at the top of the power rankings. They're a 2-loss team. One of those losses was without their starting quarterback. The other loss was against the number 2 ranked power ranking team, the Green Bay Packers, in a very close game. They very well could be the NFC representative. I'm hoping my Packers have something else to say about it. But the Cardinals are looking poised to make a Super Bowl run this year, especially now that Kyler Murray is back out there slinging the rock around. They got a big win over a division opponent. And I believe they got a bye week this week, which is going to be good for them. Gives DeAndre Hopkins a little bit more chance to heal up a little bit before they come back next week against the Bears. Colt McCoy, shout out to him, man. The Texas Longhorn product has probably bought himself another 3 years as a backup at some place in the NFL. Shit, you can pay me to be a backup any day if I just got to come play 1 or 2 games here and there, show out whenever I do, put me back to the backup, keep it moving. Good. Shout out to the Cardinals though; they're doing very well. Shout out to my Green Bay Packers, as they're one of the only team, or they are the only team to have beaten Kyler Murray this year. I don't consider the other loss to be a loss to Kyler Murray. He didn't play, so we're the only team to beat Kyler Murray, and I'll take that for us. I mean, Kyler Murray looking good though. He's scary. I'm glad we played him, got him out of the way, got a win. Shout out to the Packers on that one. Moving along, let's get away from the power rankings here a little bit. Let's switch over to some just our QB check-in that we're doing right now. Since there's so many different rookie quarterbacks this year that are playing, not just sitting the bench, or have actually been seeing some game time. Starting this past week, I've decided to start doing a little bit of a QB check-in on a different rookie QB. Last week we did, I believe we checked out Trevor Lawrence. But just a crazy stat for you guys. There's been 6 different rookie quarterbacks to start a game this season. That's the most that have ever started in a season, or I'm sorry, ties the most that have ever started through week 11 in a season in the last 22 years. So there are a lot of rookie quarterbacks out there. This is going to be a little bit of a turning time for the NFL. See who's going to be those QBs that live up to their hype and who are going to be those QBs that don't live up to their hype. This week we're checking in with Zach Wilson. He's definitely a long ways from BYU. He's not playing those shitty college defenses anymore, and it shows. He essentially was handed the keys to the castle without having even being tested, other than at the collegiate level. This move usually is frowned upon. It doesn't go, especially when it doesn't go well. Obviously, it's definitely being frowned upon. It's not going well for him. He's played 6 games this year. He has 4 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. He has doubled his touchdown ratio. He is essentially a 1-to-2 TD to INT ratio, which is terrible. He has a 27.1 QBR, which ranks 31st amongst all the QBs in the league right now. I believe he's got the worst QBR of all the rookie QBs. With him, the assessment that Jets reporter Rich Cimini, I don't know if he pronounced his name right, is essentially that he holds the ball too long, he leaves the pocket too quickly, and he tries to play hero ball. Ultimately, what he basically just said is he does everything fucking wrong, and he is not good. He didn't say that, but he does say basically that he does everything wrong. This dude has got to learn that he's got to check the ball down sometimes. I know you hear people making fun of Dak Prescott and some of these other players, dinking and dacking and stuff like that, checking it down. Aaron Rodgers, he is he'll check down or he'll throw the ball away. Dude, you've got to learn from these really good QBs that are in the league. Not everybody can be Patrick Mahomes and throw the ball 50 yards every pass play. And even he doesn't do that either. He just does a great job at extending the plays and using his arm to get where he needs to. Now, praise for him. Zach Wilson does have a wonderful arm. He's just got to learn to harness it. He threw a 50-yard bomb earlier this season against the Titans, and that's probably been the highlight of his season. He's got a great arm. He's got to learn to read the NFL defenses. He's got to learn to trust his O-line a little bit, not get too squirmish back there in the pocket, and ultimately realize that he does not have to do it all himself. I know that's hard to imagine when you play for the Jets and the team is just not good. But if he can kind of harness that arm, learn to check down sometimes, learn to read the defenses that he's lining up against, and not try to gunsling it like Patrick Mahomes the entire time. Not everybody is Patrick Mahomes, and he's got to realize that. And whenever he does, he'll be a better player. If he doesn't, he'll phase out, and the Jets will move on to another QB before you know it. So I'm sure he's got 3 years, 4 years maybe to kind of figure this shit out. I think he's in a very bad spot because he's got to come in and just learn the ropes as a professional on his own. Doesn't really have anybody to look up to that he's sitting behind or anything like that. But there are other quarterbacks out there that are rookies this year that are also doing that. Trevor Lawrence is doing that. He's not doing great either, but he is playing slightly better than Zach Wilson. Not by much. Pretty much all the rookie QBs are not playing great. Mac Jones is the best of them, and he's got like a 47 QBR. So, but Mac Jones also got his team in the top spot for his division as a rookie. We'll get to him, though. This one's about Zach Wilson. Mac Jones will be a little bit later in the season. I want to see how his season progresses before we review him any further. Zach Wilson is pretty safe to say. Rookie year, not one to remember, one to rather forget and move on. He's got a lot of games left. Obviously, we're only in week 12. He got about 5 more weeks to go there, partner, before you can start looking at the next season. But he does need to look to improve this offseason, learn to read some defense, watch a lot of film this offseason. How he does this offseason and getting himself prepared for next season, I think will be a true testament to how long this guy's going to last in the league. If he comes back next year and just looks like he has spent his entire offseason devoted to watching film, devoted to improving his game, perfecting his craft, it will show. He'll come out and he'll light it up. If he does not do that, it'll definitely show. And whenever that happens, he'll probably phase up to a backup role. And then eventually phase out of the league. So, hope the best for him. I know Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay has had nothing but high praise for him. So, hopefully maybe Zach Wilson this offseason will reach out to Aaron Rodgers. I got to do it after the playoffs, though, big dog. That's where the grown men play at. He won't be able to take your calls right away. But once the playoffs are over, feel free to give him a call. I bet you Rodgers will have some good insight for Zach Wilson. They did link up at training camp and had a little bit of a conversation. That's why I mentioned Aaron Rodgers for this. I didn't just pull that out of my ass. Seems like I would because I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan, but they did, kind of bullshit with each other, kind of get some pointers at training camp this last training camp. Let's see. Moving on from that. Speaking of players this week, a lot of injuries on there. One of the notable ones for fantasy purposes got to be Cordarrelle Patterson. Dude came in, was a pickup for a lot of people, and has been tearing it up. He is questionable at the moment. If he doesn't play, Quadri Olison is feeling ill, so he's going to be out. So if for some reason Patterson gets ruled out late, snag up Wayne Gallman real quick so that way you can have a handcuff for him. Other notable injuries, Hunter Henry, he's questionable right now. The only way he's going to be really impactful on your fantasy team is if he can find the end zone. He is questionable, though. Other than that, we know the yardage isn't there with the New England team because they are on a game management type of play. That being said, if he finds the end zone, he'll get some fantasy points. Saquon Barkley on the injury report. Once again, he's expected to play, but his injury is going to be, kind of looming the rest of the season. I'm sure that'll have some impact on him. But no worries if you are his, owner in fantasy. He, more than likely going to be playing still, just may ail him a little bit. Michael Carter, he was actually somebody I picked up for the New York Jets as a running back. He is out on the IR. Did something to it this week in practice. So he's now on the IR. Ty Johnson, Tevin Coleman, they're going to be tag team in that backfield. Stay away from his handcuffs, though. He was a little bit of a pickup, a little bit of a stretch just because that offense is so bad. If you're looking at splitting carries with somebody else, it's not good as well. So stay away from them. Let's see. Any other notable injuries? A.J. Brown, he's also out this week. Tennessee, they're hurting. A.J. Brown's on the IR now. Derrick Henry's on the IR. Julio Jones is on the IR. This literally leaves, these are the options for Tennessee's receivers. And to be honest with you, this could be bad for the Titans. They have Dez Fitzpatrick, Nick Westbrook, and Chester Rodgers. I've heard of none of those guys. If any of you guys have heard of them, please enlighten me in the comments section and let me know who they are. That being said, though, I've never heard of them. Who the fuck are these guys that Tannehill's not going to be throwing to? Titans defense, they're going to have to pick up and play, they are going to shoulder a lot of the load for the Titans now that now that the offense is pretty much not the same team anymore. That being said, on defense, they've also got Rashawn Evans out, and they've got Joe Jones out. Joe Jones, COVID protocol. Rashawn Evans, ankle injury. So, yeah, I mean, those are some big ones to watch. Those are some guys that, you need to be making sure that you don't have in your lineups for fantasy, and those are also some big losses for some of these teams. The most notable losses are definitely going to be Tennessee's offense. I mean, even Jeremy McNichols, the backup they had, he's got a concussion. He's out. I mean, they can't catch a break right now. I don't know what's going on with them injury-wise, but everybody seems to be dropping like flies in Tennessee, which could be bad for them because they do have the Colts who are getting hot right on their trail. So will the Colts squeak into the playoffs? I don't know. They got an in-season Hard Knocks going on with the Colts as well. I believe that started this week. I did not watch an episode, but I plan on getting to that. Pretty cool that they're doing that in season, and what a team to pick to do that with. The Colts, who started so terribly and who are doing so well now. I mean, what a team for Hard Knocks to do their first ever in-season series on. Moving over to the games of the week this week, we'll kind of start. We'll hit these and we'll hit the standings, and then we'll get out of here to watch the games. Coming up this week, though, we've got first game that I really am looking forward to watching today. It's going to be the Steelers at Bengals. That's going to be a noon game. The Bengals bounced back finally. They beat the Raiders last week. They lost 2 in a row before that. The Steelers are looking to do the same as what the Bengals did this week, and bounce back. They tied the Lions, which damn near just as bad as a loss whenever it's the fucking Lions. And then they lost to the Chargers last week, which is basically putting them in a pretty close spot, or which is putting them within a half a game of each other in the standings due to that tie. The Bengals 6-4, Steelers 5-4-1. This game will determine who's in that second spot for the division, possibly even the first spot if the Ravens lose. These are big division implications that are going into a lot of these games today, and this is why this one's going to be a big one to watch. Big divisional matchup there. Another game to keep an eye on, not really watch, but more so keep an eye on, is the Panthers and Dolphins. Not necessarily because I think it's going to be a good game, but due to the standing implications. The Panthers are right on the heels of the Bucs. The Panthers can keep winning, get some wins under their belt with Cam Newton back under center. We may very well be talking about them and the Bucs for a divisional race as this season closes out. But other than that, I'm not really looking forward to watching the game. I'm mainly just looking forward to the outcome of that one. That one's more on the radar, not necessarily on the watch list. Another one on the watch list for me, though, Titans and the Patriots. As we talked about a minute ago, the Titans are injury-ridden, which is not good for them. They are 8-3 at the moment, but the Colts are currently 6-5, 2 games behind them at the moment. While 2 games may seem like a lot, it's really not. There's 5 weeks left, and the Titans have put Derrick Henry, Julio Jones, and A.J. Brown onto the IR. That's going to be putting a lot of strain on their offense, going to put even more strain on their defense, going to probably be more defensive possessions for them, probably more chances to get scored on. This is not a good thing for the Titans. They could very well fall to a wild card spot if they don't figure it out with their backups. We'll see how this plays out. On the other hand, though, the Patriots, what a surprise this year. They're looking to hold on to their division lead. They came into this week with the division lead. The Bills won the other night to tie them in the standings. They win today. They're going to go ahead of the Bills in the standings, and they will then hold on to that divisional lead in the AFC East, where they will then go play the Buffalo Bills next week to see who still keeps that division lead. Going to be a great game to watch, I think. I think this is a huge win for the Patriots, and I think it's also a must for the Titans to keep on track as the Colts keep getting hotter and hotter, and they're trailing behind them. That's sorry. Got a little bit of a message there that I was looking at. That we are trying to figure out what the dance was called that the Vikings do, and I just got a video of LSU doing it the other day. Is the gritty? If you don't know what that is, go check it out. I kind of like that celebration. I hate that the Vikings are the ones doing it, especially when they play the Packers. That being said, though, back to the Titans Patriots. I think it's gonna be a huge win for the Patriots if they can get it. I think they need to get this win so that way gives them slight cushion going into next week against the Bills, because you don't at this point you don't know what Bills team you're going to get. Are you going to get the team that lost to the Jags, or are you going to get the team that steamrolls people 40-0? You don't know. I think it's again a must win for the Titans. The Colts are getting hot and they're only 2 games behind them. Every game the Patriots lose is a chance for the Colts to squeak even closer. Speaking of the Colts, that's going to be my 3rd game of the day to watch, and that's simply because the Colts are hot. The Bucks at Colts. Colts have won 7 of their last 8, and the Bucks are looking to keep separation. The Bucks are looking to keep separation between them and the Panthers. Again, like I said, I'm kind of looking to. I kind of hope the Panthers go on a hot streak here. One, because I don't like the Bucks, right? So mainly because it's not the Bucks that I don't like. Let me take that back. The Bucks don't deserve that. I don't like Tom Brady. Obviously, I'm an Aaron Rodgers fan, biggest Aaron Rodgers fan, and no disrespect to Tom Brady, but he's nowhere near the QB as Aaron Rodgers is, and I'm tired of all the conversation that there is just because he happens to have more championships. Last I checked, he don't play defense. Last I checked, he is one player of 11 players on the field at a time, and then he's not even on the field for defense special teams. Neither is Aaron Rodgers, though. That's why I don't fault Aaron Rodgers for only having 1 championship. It is the ultimate team sport. You need the whole team. Aaron Rodgers played in Green Bay, where they haven't necessarily given him the most to work with. However, and then, same with Tom, though. Tom hasn't always had the most to work with. That being said, he's always been in a better system. Bill Belichick has been the better coach. He's had better defenses. Overall thrower of the football, Aaron Rodgers will beat that motherfucker in a skills competition, hands down. Don't come at me with that bullshit about Tom Brady being the best. He may be the best game manager, a.k.a. he's won more Super Bowls that way. But as far as like talent-wise, can he put the ball in the same spots that Aaron Rodgers can? No. Can he extend the plays like Aaron Rodgers can? No. Can he take a team that's got, all of his best receivers out with COVID and beat the number 1 team in the league? No, I don't think Brady can do that. I just don't think. There's something magical about Aaron Rodgers and the way he plays. Call me biased because I'm a Green Bay Packers fan. Tom Brady does not have that. And for all you Tom Brady ball washers, y'all hate all y'all want in the comments, it's not the same. Does he have more championships? Yes. Will he ever beat Aaron Rodgers in the skill competition of throwing the football? Never. Never in a million years. Anyways, off that tangent, back to what we're talking about here. Bucks at Colts. The Colts are hot. They've won 7 of their last 8. The Bucks are looking to keep a little bit of separation between them and the Panthers, because really right now the Panthers are kind of a wild card. We don't know what we're going to get with them now that they got Cam Newton back. Are they going to, come alive with Cam Newton, or are they going to continue to be a run-of-the-mill team? They've got a chance to get a win today against Miami, so if they can get that win, and then the Colts can come through and pick up a win over the Bucks, I mean, the Panthers will essentially slide up within a game of the Bucks, or within 2 games of the Bucks. It's very well a possibility, but the Panthers got to really get on a run. The Bucks really got to have the wheels fall off. On the other hand, though, huge game for the Colts. Titans could very well lose today since they've got nobody to play with, basically, which could mean that at the end of this week, the Colts are 8-4, while the Titans are 8-4, while the Colts would be 7-5, 1 game behind with a lot of football left to play in the season. The Colts could squeak up and win that division still. It is a possibility. Really depends on the health and the performance of Carson Wentz. He needs to make sure that his ass is sliding when he runs, because right now his team has a chance as long as he stays healthy. Moving on. Next game that I've got on the list here, and that's going to be Chargers at Broncos. I'm really looking at this one because the Chargers at the beginning, they looked to be a lock to win this division. The Chiefs were struggling. However, now they're sitting at second in the division as now they've started struggling and the Chiefs have started playing even better. They've pulled out some wins, faced some teams that weren't at their best. Were able to get some wins that way. They're now sitting at the top of the division. And this division is ultimately as close as they come. The Broncos are dead last, but they're only 2 games out of first. So this game could shift the narrative of the division for the remainder of the season if the Broncos do pull it out. Because if they pull it out, that means that the Chargers are going to bump down. Broncos probably going to bump up. And then from there, or I believe, let me make sure I'm speaking correctly on that with the division. So, yeah, if the Chargers lose, they will bump down to tied for third with the Raiders. They'll both be 6-5. And then the Broncos will bump up to second as they will have the tiebreaker over the Chargers. I don't know if the Raiders and the Broncos will have tiebreakers over each other on that one, though. So the Raiders, if they have the tiebreaker over the Broncos, they could potentially jump up to second. The Broncos would then ascend to third, and then the Chargers would ascend to dead last from second place. Not like the best game in the world to watch, but just due to the standing implications that can come from this game, I'm watching this one and I'm keeping this one on my radar. If the Chargers start running away with it, I'm flipping it, turning it on, hoping that the Broncos can make this close, hopefully pull out an upset. I love to see when the narratives of the division start getting shifted around of, oh, this team's out of it, now this team's back in it. I love these close division races, and there's a lot of them this year, especially on that AFC side. Moving over, next game to check out today, Vikings at 49ers. Again, this game right here, not really going to decide who wins the division per se, because both these guys are so far, they're both in divisions where the leader of the division is so far ahead of them and such a good team that it's highly unlikely that they're going to catch them unless just something crazy happens. So that being said, this game's going to more so carry a lot of wild card implications. Both of these teams are 5-5. Like I said, they're unlikely to win their division, but they are sitting in a good place to possibly win a wild card spot. Both the 49ers and Vikings are looking to keep their momentum rolling. They've won 4 of their last 6. Both teams are. I mean, you've essentially got 2 teams that have gotten hot at this time of the season. Their records don't show it. They're both 5-5, but the Vikings did just beat the Packers. Very good teams right here, hot at the right time. Could be a very good game here in San Francisco. Hopefully the 49ers take it to the Vikings as a Packers fan, but at the same time, I'm thinking this one's going to be a good game. All right. These last 2, I couldn't decide on which one I really wanted to make game of the week. I picked my favorite team, obviously, for the game of the week because it's going to be based off what I want to fucking watch. That being said, though, one of the games of the week, in my opinion, is going to be that Sunday night matchup tonight. You got the Browns at the Ravens, and if you want to see a division completely flip upside down, this is the division to have it happen. They've all 4 got division matchups. You got the Bengals and the Steelers, and then you've got the Browns and the Ravens. Both the AFC North could have a new number 1 and 2 after this game. And because both the 3rd and 4th team can jump up to those spots if they get a win over their team. Though those 2 are the Steelers and the Browns. If they win today, they're going to jump up to the top 2 spots. Ravens, Browns going to slide to the bottom 2 spots, which would be absolutely crazy to see. I mean, this division is insanely close. The Ravens are looking to hold off their division as much as possible. If they win today, that's going to put some good separation between them. The Ravens really need to get some separation because this division is about as tight as they come. The Browns, they're needing to turn it around fast. This is unfortunately not a good team to have a turnaround game. They're playing the Ravens, but they've only won 4 of their last 8. They're going to need better consistency if they want any chance to win this tough division. I think the Ravens are going to win this game. The Browns have only managed to beat bad teams, but the Ravens and Browns, they are good teams still. Even though the Browns haven't gotten any really quality wins this year, this could be their first quality win of the season. If that happens, that if the Browns do get a win today, that division's going to go nuts. Kind of hope it happens just to see. I think it makes for enjoyable watching if you're not a fan of any of the teams in that division. Switching over, this is my game of the week right here. It's going to be the Rams at Green Bay. Kickoff time, temperature is supposed to be about 34 degrees, so no snow, not as cold as it was previously when the Seahawks came to town, but still cold nonetheless. This right here is going to be a matchup of two of the best wide receiver QB duos in the league for this year. You've got Stafford and Kupp, who are just lighting it up. And then you've got Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers. We all know the story there. I think this game is going to be a game on which defense can get the best pressure on the opposing QB. Unfortunately, that plays to the Rams' strengths for us, as our O-line is banged up and took another injury last week with Elton Jenkins. But at the end of the day, you got to remember Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. And the Rams don't quite look like they did at the beginning of the season. They are still a good team, though. I do not want to discount that. They just don't look as hot as they did from week 1 through 4. I think this game's going to end up being a shootout, to be honest with you. I think that the Rams are going to be able to get a lot of good pressure onto Aaron Rodgers. But like I said, Rodgers is Rodgers. He's going to find ways to extend the plays, make some plays, and keep the team in it. I think this one's actually going to end up being a shootout when it's all said and done. You're probably looking at 28-plus points for each team. The winning team's probably going to have at least 34 points. It's going to be a good game to watch coming on this afternoon at 3:25. Y'all make sure y'all tune into that one. That right there is my game of the week. That and then the Browns and Ravens. Those are going to be two good ones. I think the Rams at Green Bay is more so a good game just simply due to the fact of the caliber of teams that are playing in the game. I think the Ravens and the Browns are the game of the week simply due to the standing, or is another game of the week simply due to the standing implications that could come from losing that game. All right, moving on. We're going to wrap it up here in a minute. We're just going to check out, a couple of the standings, see who's at the top of each, see, kind of where we're, what we're looking at as far as the standings at the moment, where we're going to wrap up at. Starting over in the AFC South, this division right here, it's looking to heat up. The two bottom teams, Texans and Jaguars, nobody's going to even worry about them at this point. They've won 2 games this season. They're dead. There's no way they make it. However, the two top teams here are really coming along. The Titans, they were hot, but now they're sliding because of injuries. The Colts are getting hotter and hotter each week. I'm honestly predicting the Colts to win this division right now. I don't think the Titans are going to hold on. They've got too many injuries right now, and the Colts are getting hot at the right time. However, Carson Wentz needs to make sure to take his ass down to the ground and not get hit, because if he goes down again, it'll be right back to the beginning of the season, and they're done. They're done. Let's see. AFC East, another one that's heating up right here. 2 bottom teams, Dolphins, Jets, dead. However, 2 top teams, Bills, Patriots, both currently sitting at 7-4. Bills have already played this week, so the Patriots can gain that top spot in the division. If they win today to go to 8-4, they will then go next week into Buffalo to play the Bills, try and keep that top spot. I'm look forward to how that one shakes up. If the Bills get it together, they'll probably end up winning the division. The Patriots will squeak out a wild card spot, but if not, then Bills may end up in the wild card while the Patriots win the division. If the Patriots win the division with a rookie quarterback over the Bills, I'm giving up predicting football. I mean, who would have thought that? I was thinking the Patriots would be 500 at best. They're currently got a 636 win percentage. With a rookie QB, leave it to Bill. Leave it to Bill Belichick to get that shit rolling in the right direction. Last 2 divisions we're going to cover for the AFC. The AFC West, this division's heating up. The Chiefs, they are on a roll right now. They're 7-4, way better than how they started. They're currently on a 4-game win streak. They look to keep it going today. Chargers, on the other hand, they're 6-4. They need to get a win today. They've got to keep pace with the Chiefs. The Raiders 6-5. They picked up a big win on Thanksgiving over the Cowboys. That being said, if the Chargers lose, they're going to be tied with the Raiders and the Broncos. That's going to be a really good division. I'm hoping the Broncos can pull it up, shake some things up, maybe get a Chiefs loss thrown in there today as well. You can see a real big shakeup in that division after this weekend if things go right. AFC North, on the other hand, this division right here is probably the toughest division in all of the AFC right now. You have the Ravens, Bengals, Steelers, Browns, all at some points this season have played really good, and all at some points this season have played really bad. The Browns, I'd love to see them get a win over the Ravens today and kind of flip this division on their head. I don't think that's going to happen, though. The Browns have only managed to beat the teams that are good. They have not managed to beat any of the bad teams. They've not managed to beat any of the good teams. They've only managed to beat the bad teams. The Bengals, they're taking on the Steelers today. Could flip-flop some things around in the middle of the standings there if the Bengals can't pull out a win. Steelers have been cold the last 2 weeks, though, so the Bengals should get a win. However, though, it is NFL football any given Sunday. The Steelers have had times where they've looked good. We got to remember, week 1, they shut down the Bills. The Bengals damn near beat the Packers. This division is about as scrappy as they come. Wrapping out them with their wild cards, my predictions on wild cards going to be Cincinnati Bengals, Los Angeles Chargers, and the Buffalo Bills. I think the Patriots will end up winning their division because the Bills can't seem to get their shit together. Moving over to the NFC. In the East, this one's going to be a no-brainer. Even though they're on a 2-game lose streak, the Cowboys should win this division. The Eagles and Washington are on 2-game win streaks currently, though. So do we have something brewing there? I don't think so. The Eagles got the best chance to try and make a run to overthrow the Cowboys. The Cowboys just got to completely keep falling off. I don't think that 2 losses is going to continue. However, we do know their history in December and beyond. So it could very well happen. Doubtful, though. Moving over to the NFC West. The Cardinals are trying to run away with this division, but the Rams are looking to keep things close. If the Rams get a win today over the Packers, that's going to be huge for them. They're going to move up to 8-3 on the season, and then they'll need a loss from the Cardinals, but I just don't foresee that happening. The Cardinals are too hot, and who are the Cardinals even playing today? The Cardinals have a bye this week, so 9-2, so how they're going to finish. Rams need to get back in the race to win that division. They need a win today to do so. That being said, they're sitting pretty for a wild card spot. The Rams are. The 49ers, they're 5-5. They need to get a win today if they want to have any chance at a wild card. They're not winning the division. Seahawks, fucking dead. They're not done per se, but all but. Fat lady's warming up that voice right now for the Seahawks. Obviously, they got plagued a little bit with some injury this year, but it is what it is. It was a tough division. I really envisioned that division to be one of the closest in the league. It's not. It does have some closeness at the top of the division, but the Rams are unfortunately getting the short end of the stick of being in a division with the Cardinals. Any other division, a 7-3 team would be winning that division right now. Unfortunately, they're playing in a division with the Cardinals, who are currently 9-2. But this is why we get wild card spots, help those teams out. Moving on to the North. Green Bay Packers currently 8-3, took a loss to the Minnesota Vikings, who are on a 2-game win streak. The Lions, will they win a game? They're 0-10-1. They are not completely defeated, but they also have not won a game yet. The Bears 4-7, and they're looking bad. They managed to get a win on Thanksgiving, but they're pretty much dead in the water as well. Vikings, on the other hand, they're 5-5. They're 2-game win streak. Looking to make something happen today against the 49ers. If they can win today, moves them up to 6-5, puts them in a good spot for a wild card spot somewhere. Packers 8-3. They need to bounce back this week against the Rams. They really need to put up a good game against the Rams. It's going to be a tough one for them. They need to improve that separation between them and the Vikings. They're up 3 games on them right now. That being said, though, there's, I think, 5 games left, something like that. 5 games left, I believe. They can make that up if we don't get it going. If the Vikings get hot and we just go shit cold, then that can happen. We've got a tough game against the Rams today. I think the Vikings got a little bit of an easier opponent in the 49ers. And I think the Rams are going to be doing everything they can to close that gap on the Cardinals. It's going to be a really good game. That is definitely going to be the game of the week to watch. You guys make sure to tune into that one. Wrapping things out here, we got the NFC South. Talked a little bit about them a minute ago. 7-3 is the Bucs leading that division. I hope they start tanking. I hope the Panthers get hot now that they've got Cam Newton. And if they can get hot, man, 2 games behind, see what happens. I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. I think that is the Brady hater in me wanting to see the Bucs shit the bed the rest of the season and the Panthers go on a hot streak. That being said, looking at the wild card spots for the NFC, we're looking at, let's see, you got Los Angeles Rams. They're probably going to squeak out that top spot. I doubt they're going to catch the Cardinals in their division. I would not be surprised to see the Minnesota Vikings pop up in there as well. It's really going to depend, though, do they get a win today over the 49ers or not? That's going to be huge for them. And then I think that third spot to wrap up the wild card may actually be the Philadelphia Eagles. I think them and the 49ers are the two that have a good chance for that. However, I think that the Eagles are a better team to make that happen. 3 that I'm seeing right now for them is going to be Rams, Vikings, Eagles for those 3 wild cards in the NFC. That would be the way things look if the season were to end right now, in my or based on my prediction. So we'll see what happens. Until then, guys, you guys make sure to enjoy today's games. Make sure you guys eat that leftover turkey if you still got some left over. And overall, let's have a good day watching some football, guys. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate all y'all coming on. Y'all take it easy, guys.